Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the QueendomNation show where all things are royal and loyal. I'm your host, Queen Chariel. We are so glad to have you this evening. We hope that you had a great and productive week. We hope that you had a great 4th of July. We hope that everybody was safe and that you ate good and you had a great time with your family and your friends. So, welcome back to the Queendom. So today I decided to do something and talk about some things. So I've been watching like TikToks and different things like that and watching these little videos and podcasts and all these different things and different ways that people are trying to, get into the world, especially of entrepreneurship and just being seen out here and making money while they're doing it. So that brought me to a question. Um, do you want fame? Do you want fortune? Or do you want power? Or do you want all three? So it's crazy that when I did the research, I was learning like different tidbits of information as far as those three things were concerned. So I want to talk about fortune for a minute. Okay. So it is said that money is the root of all evil. How many of y'all have heard that? We've heard that saying so many times throughout our lives. But guys, that is one of the greatest myths of all time, okay? I don't know what the root of all evil is, but one thing I do know for sure, it is not money, okay? So we can go ahead and dismiss that. The truth is that unsavory people, for the lack of a better term, they seek all kinds of things that they didn't earn or that they don't deserve. This includes fame, power over other people, and of course, fortune. Okay? Whatever people lust for, that is what they seek. A lust for money is greed. That's not a good thing, guys. So, what I was always told, the money is not the root of all evil, it's the love of money and the greed of money that is the root of all evil. Okay? But in general, the pursuit of money or fortune on its own, guys, it is a noble pursuit. Because this is the thing in the world, we got to have money, whether we want it or not. You have to have money to survive. You have to have money to clothe yourself. You have to have money to shelter. You have to have money for your families, and you have to have money for yourselves. Okay. As a metric for the result of our hard work, we need money because when we go to work, we expect a paycheck at the end of the week, right? For your accomplishments and for your success. Money is not bad. It's when people get greedy and they value money over everything else is when the bad things start coming in. That's when fortune becomes an issue. Okay? So fortune isn't necessarily the most worthy goal that you can think of. Okay? I'm the kind of person, believe it or not, I am driven by the need to achieve things. Like, I am such an overachiever sometimes. Like, I can achieve 50 million things and still feel like I have not achieved enough. Okay. So, whatever my goals are at that time, nevertheless, guys, money is only one way to measure that. Okay. And being just justly compensated for your good hard work and achievement is a noble thing. There is nothing wrong with that. We go to work so that we can have money, so that we can have nice things, and so that we can enjoy the fruits of our labor. Okay? So, of the three choices between fortune, fame, and fortune, fame, and power, fortune is without a doubt one of the most noblest things and pursuits that you can have. Okay? So, take that for whatever it's worth. Let's talk about fame. Okay. Fame is a whole different type of entity. Okay. There's an ancient Chinese proverb that reads this: may you live in interesting times. Mm. On the surface, guys, it sounds like this is a blessing, right? But sometimes it can be more of a curse. That's because notoriety brings scrutiny, and that's rarely a good thing. And what I mean by that, a lot of times the more you are pushed into the public eye, the more people find ways to scrutinize you. You can be just as nice as you want to be. You could be achieving the most things, but somebody is always going to have something bad to say about you, no matter what you do. Okay? So, thus the saying goes this: no news is good news. Pretty much the same thing. So, the pursuit of fame is mostly about the need for attention and approval, right? That's how we become famous in the first place, because people notice who we are, what we do, they support us, they push us, they motivate us to keep doing what we're doing. We can relate to these people, in some form or fashion. But the constant reaffirmation of self, okay, that's what they need, the constant reaffirmation of themselves. And so they seek fame to be affirmed of who they should or should not be. Okay? It's not just a frivolous or a fleeting thing. It's more insidious and addictive than that, right? Because some people, if you ever notice, like, the more fame they get, the more fame they want. Sometimes that little bit of fame is just not enough. So with some people, it can be like a bottomless pit. It can be like a hole that can never be filled. The more people see me, the more I want people to see me. And that's not for everybody. That's just for some people that want to achieve fame to the utmost level. But then this is the thing, guys. Once the fame is gone and they snap back into reality, as with all the addictions, you crash. That's why we see so many people, especially celebrities, committing suicide, because being a celebrity is like having a constant high, and when you can't get that high, and it's not being fulfilled, you find other ways to fulfill that high. And when it's not being fulfilled, many times people commit suicide because they feel like they can't cope without being out in the main frame, because that's what they have been so used to. So for me to just put it a little less dramatic, fame is a childish pursuit. Okay? You see, children are all about me, I. After all, guys, getting attention from adults is a critical survival skill. You got to think, when you live in the house with brothers and sisters, everybody is fighting for the attention of the parent, right? And the one child that does not get the attention of the parent usually use it as an excuse to go do things that they should not do. Well, nobody paid me attention, and so I did this, and so I did that. And so we have to understand that, sometimes, we seek the wrong kind of attention unnecessarily without realizing that we're doing it. And a lot of times being famous is all about seeking attention and validation from other people. Okay? So seeking attention from adults is a survival skill, but over time we learn that there's a big world out there, guys. It's a whole big old world, and not all the time are we at the center of that world. That's what we call maturity. Okay, so just like kids, when you're seeking that attention, it gets to a point to where you actually stop seeking that attention, and you move on, and you find other things to validate you as a person or as a human being. But sometimes people get stuck on their way to adulthood, guys, and they continue to need attention throughout their lives. And so a lot of people never truly feel comfortable in their own skin, or achieve a consistent level of confidence. They never really grow up. And I'm gonna be honest, like, at one point, I was like one of those people, you know, I always try to seek the attention of other people. And for many years I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And so I didn't try to use fame, as a means to bring attention to myself. I bought I used my fame as attention to bring attention to other people, because I realized that the journey that I was on wasn't about me. The journey that I was on was basically for other people. And so instead of me wanting the fame for me, I wanted the fame for my work, and I wanted people to understand what I was trying to do to help young people of my community. So what is good for one person in fame is not good for the other one. So while many seek validation through fame, you have those that don't. It just depends on, how you look at the situation, because everybody look at it different. So you look at power different. Everybody looks at fame different, right? Everybody looks at everybody looks at fortune different. Everybody looks at fame different. Everybody looks at power different. Okay? Because what you may see in fortune and fame may not be what other people see in fortune and fame. Okay? And power. So this is the thing. Let's get to power. So we did fortune, we did fame. Let's talk about power. There's no doubt that power and influence carry a lot of weight in our society, right? In every society, leaders by definition are powerful people, are they not? You gotta think your president, any type of leader, you look at them with some type of dignity, you look at them with some type of respect. But it's one thing to attain a position of power and authority as a result of doing good work, climbing the corporate ladder, or achieving entrepreneurial success, guys. It is another thing entirely to pursue power as a means to an end, to have authority and control over other people. That's a different type of power. People often seek power because deep down inside they feel weak, they feel powerless, they feel scared. And so they seek control over other people because it makes them feel safe, and it makes them feel less fearful about their own self and their own insecurities. Okay? That's why a lot of people want power. If you look at different type of leaders, certain dictators, they take that power and they use it to the best of their ability. A lot of times it has nothing to do with them as an individual. It's about them wanting to control and rule other people. Okay? Sometimes it's the fear that they have that is based on the past and the present and their physical reality. But it also comes, guys, as a result of childhood trauma. Because you ever seen those people that they have pain inflicted them as a child, and so as they get older, they want to do that to somebody else. Well, somebody did it to me, so I want to do it to somebody else. And that's nothing but a control type of thing. Okay, it is not a good thing to want to do that to people. Okay, sometimes it's about poverty, sometimes it's about physical weakness. It can also be a result of psychological disorders. Okay, because look at somebody like, let's say, like Hitler. The kind of power he craved, it was so atrocious that you wanted so much power over people that you controlled what religion they were and everything, that you killed these people, starved these people, and did all this stuff just to gain control because you were psychologically messed up, thinking that these people were wrong just because they were different from you. Okay, so we have to understand how we look at power, how we dish it out, how we take it in. For some, seeking power and authority is a cultural thing. It's a matter of how you were brought up. Okay, and some families you got where the man of the house is this, the man of the house is that. You got some households where the female is this or the mother is this. It just depends on how and where you grow up, and it also depends on what culture that you grow up. Okay, some cultures you grow up where the female ain't allowed to say anything. She has nothing in the relationship. The man is over everything. And so when we talk about power, we have to think about how it is distributed amongst the different cultures, amongst different people, amongst businesses, and how we as a person use that power. Do we use it to the best of our advantage? Do we use it to hurt people? Do we use it to help people? Like, how are we using our own power? Okay. Not everybody grows up with money or privilege, guys. And those often are a lot of times the people that end up seeking power and authority from others. Okay. It's very much a function of an upbringing, and of course it goes back to your individual personality, because you could grow up and your parents could teach you one thing, but if you get in your mindset, well, this ain't right for me, you take that and you change it however you want to change it to make it better benefit you, while you're hurting people in the process. Again, Hitler. Because in his mind, he felt like what he did was right, but you were killing people. and using your authoritative figure to do that, raising power over people to do that. So watch how we're distributing our power and how we're using our authority over others, okay? Power seekers, God, they can appear to be benevolent and selfless, okay? But that's often a disguise so they can lure others in so they can accumulate power over them for selfish and controlling reasons. So when you talk about power, is this what you want? Okay? Some people are aware of their behavior while others live in complete denial. Like they don't even realize what they're doing is wrong. Do you not realize? Let's talk about Donald Trump. You know, what you was doing is wrong. You up in office and you making everything that's better beneficial to you and not for the well-being of the whole nation. And so some people take that power and they just abuse it. And then when you tell them that they're abusing their power, they in like this whole thing of the now. And they create excuses of why it is important for them to be doing what they do. You ever seen people that do that? It's crazy. Try to justify their nonsense, which makes absolutely no sense. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Point blank. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. It doesn't matter if you Billy Bob that work at the corner store. You know, right is right, is wrong, okay? And one thing we have to learn with any case, great power carries great responsibility, okay? Let's go back to Donald Trump. If a leader isn't mature, well grounded, and self aware, power can lead to corruption and tragic results. Let's talk about how they insurged the White House. That's what happened when power was taken in a place that it shouldn't have been taken. Then you get overthrown because now people have no respect for you. So we have to be careful how we think about power and fame, fortune. Okay. Um, just just know sometimes it's not all what it seems to be, especially when you're trying to take authority um over other people. You have to kind of be careful with that, guys, because we don't want to be known as a person that, you know, well, she took her authority and did this, and took her authority and did that, and because she had money, you know, she did this. You know, you have to watch how you treat people, because you just never know. You never know who you may need one day. So be careful how you treat folk. Okay, I have always been, well, society has told us this, that time and time and again, that materialistic goals might not be good for any of us, and yet we continue to pursue these types of goals. Okay, I think it's because it's kind of seductive. You know, we like things that are not things that we're not supposed to be doing. Popular culture and celebrity influences place a premium on being beautiful. They think the whole world should be beautiful. Everybody should be rich. Everybody should be famous. Everybody should have lots of money and scores of followers and loads of notoriety. These are things that are glamorized and have the appearance of being good, and that's why they appeal to us. Because you got to think, when you see people like Beyonce and you see some of the things she wear, you want that. You see the lifestyle that she lived, being on islands and taking these trips, and you want that. You know, these are what people idolize, you know, instead of understanding that we don't have to have all this stuff to be happy and to live an abundant life. Okay? You know, we don't want society to make us feel like materialistic things are the things that fulfill us. Okay? Um, because those are things that not, because at the end of the day, when those things are gone, you know, and you're back to just you have to find fulfillment within, you know, within just yourself. Okay? So, however, the persistent finding in a growing body is the pursuit of materialistic goals do not actually lead to happiness. Rather, it is the opposite, guys. So when you're talking about fame and fortune and all these different things and power, think about how happy this is really going to make you. They always say, especially with fortune, more money, more problems. And we see that with a lot of people, especially with a lot of celebrities. We see that the more money they get, the more aggravating things that they have to go through. And so, not saying that you can't have money, none of that stuff. But what we're saying is, when you think about being rich or you think about having fame, you think about having fortune, you have to think about all those things that come along with having all those things, okay? So, let's talk about what altruism is. It's a selfless concern for others and for the community, okay? It seems the less self-obsessed if we are wider in our scope of concern for other people, um, because a lot of times when we get money and we get this fame and we get this fortune, we tend to look down on other people that are less fortunate than us instead of understanding not everybody is born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And so you have to be careful of how you treat people, especially treat people that are less fortunate than you are. Okay, so again, I ask, what would you like? Fame, fortune, or power? Me myself, this gave me a whole new perspective on how I looked at those three things, because when you think about fame, fortune, and power, you think about the good side of what these things can do for you and what they can allow for in your life. You don't think about the bad things that they can also cause. Okay, um, so just be careful whenever you looking into wanting to be rich and famous and have power. So you want to be rich and famous, you can do whatever you want, not have to worry about anything. Let's talk about this. I hate to break it to you guys, but if you have intentions of becoming extremely wealthy so you can do whatever you want, a lot of times you ain't gonna make it there. Some people just don't. This post is for those that are thinking that becoming super wealthy or famous will mean that you will never be stressed out and that you can do whatever you want with no consequences. I'm going to tell you that's 100% incorrect. Okay. And that is why a lot of power and money are actually more stress for middle class people than for normal people. Because if you notice, normal people, when they lose stuff and they go broke, they're like, okay, we're going to start all over again. But you look at a lot of famous people that when they lose stuff, they lose their job, they commit suicide and they do other things because they can't cope with not having that in their lives. So when you become just so accustomed to that and you lose it, look what that does to you as a person. Okay? There's always going to be some type of consequences with anything that you do in life. It doesn't matter whether you're making money, whether you're losing money. It's going to be something that's going to be some type of consequence. Okay? Right now you think you might have a lot going on in your life, and that's probably true, guys. You may have kids that are growing up as well, and you may have difficulty at your job. You may be in the process of looking for a new job. Whatever's going on in your life right now, I can guarantee you almost half of the people with a lot of money and power are dealing with so same type of issues, if not more. What you're dealing with every day, mentally, physically, and emotionally, is minor compared to what Kylie Jenner and Warren Buffett deal with in their world. You could best believe that. And I mean, I'm just saying, those people can do whatever they want. They're still filthy rich and they're still famous, but they have a lot of other things that come with that lifestyle. Okay. Um, but I want to just tell you, reputation is everything in this world. When you become rich, famous, fame and all this and power, reputation is everything. Growing up, my mother used to tell us, when you come in the world, you come in the world one thing. You naked as a jaybird when you come in, and the first thing that they do is they name you. You are your name, and your name stands for what you've done and who you are. So when you become famous or infamous, or when you have power, or when you have fortune, you have to think about, how you're going to treat people with this, because people are going to remember how you treated them. You can best believe that, whether you were rich or whether you were poor. So if you become famous, think about how you're going to treat people. Um, could you imagine, finding out that one of the greatest inventors of our time is a liar and hiding behind their success about different things? So just be careful how you treat people if you do plan on becoming rich and famous one day. Don't be one of those people that look down on somebody else just because they don't have as much as you do. Okay, because what I've learned is as fast as you can get power, fame, and fortune, you can lose every single one of them. Okay, um, those with a large amount of money and power usually have some sort of business or networking or operation that they run. And what you don't know, especially when you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar company, one little mistake could cause a 50% decrease in sales and engagement. And some of the top employees they stop caring and they quit because they can't handle the pressure. Okay. So when you're working for someone else, your income is solid, right? And most often the income does not change depending on the sales and performance of the company. But when you're dealing with the company and trying to keep everything together, making sure everybody gets what they need, this is one of the main reasons that the stress level in business owners are so much higher than yours. Okay, the bigger your business will get, the more you will have to take on. The stress and anxiety are 10 times what you are experiencing. You can must be, I'm a business owner and I'm telling you, it gets so stressful sometimes. Trying to make sure that we make ends meet, trying to make sure that we keep it in inventory, trying to make sure that we keep it in clientele, trying to make sure that we're reinventing ourselves to ensure that our products stay in the mainframe of people. Next time you find yourself saying that you want to be, you want to run a business or you want to be world famous, I want you to ask yourself this one question: do I have what it takes to handle the weight that these people have on them? Okay? Think about what it takes to run a company. Think about what it takes to be Michael Kors. Think about what it takes to be Beyonce. Think about what it takes to be the President of the United States. Think about what it takes to be all these people in these powerful, great positions. Think about what it takes to be an actress or an actor. You don't get those roles. Think about what it takes to be a performer, a rapper, a singer, dancer. Think about what it takes to do all those when things don't come through for you. What can happen? Okay, oftentimes these people worry a lot. You know, they get stressed out a lot because they have to make sure that, especially when you're living in $1 million mansion, that you got $1 million money coming in to keep that mansion. So when you think about fame and fortune, you know, I hope you take just a couple tidbits of this information that I gave you today. And before I go, I want to say happy birthday to Philando Castile. Philando Castile was murdered July the 6th, 2016 in the car with his girlfriend and their 4-year-old child. So today on the Queendom Nation show, we dedicate our show to Philando Castile, killed by an officer that was acquitted of second-degree manslaughter and 2 counts of dangerous discharge of a firearm inside of a car in Minnesota in 2016. So if you don't know the story of Philando Castile, please look that up. Our Queendom quote of the day is, do what you can with what you have where you are. Again, do what you can with what you have where you are. That's our Queendom quote of the day by Theodore Roosevelt. I am your host, Queen Charielle. I hope you enjoyed our show today. I hope you understand the difference between power, fame, and fortune. And if you didn't get it, hey, go back and do you some research on it and understand exactly what does that mean when you decide that you want power, fame, and fortune into your life and how that can affect other people. Again, I'm Queen Charielle. You can find us at the Queendom Nation Radio Show on Facebook. You can find me at Minette Numi Smith on Facebook. That is Minnette Numi Smith, Nume Smith. You can also find us at SherrieldDye.com, where you can also look up my book, Women in Entrepreneurship: How Do We Beat the Odds? If you are a business owner and you are looking for some space to be on the radio show and ad space to talk about your business, we would love to have you on the Queendom Nation radio show and also on the Worldwide Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Love the Worldwide Radio, the Queendom Nation show. I'm your host, Queen Charielle. Have a blessed week. Hope to see you next week. Thank you.